there's a point where in everybody's life, and I'm big on spirituality, and my practice is with astrology and stuff like that. And there's a point in life where your spirit would always call for like a transformation. And that transformation can be something intentional or something accidental. And there's always going to be those different points in your life. But very recently, I had one of those moments where like one almost died, and that's a whole nother story. Got into this crazy car accident, and then two, I had to make the decision to move back from California back to DC to help take care of my grandma, which is what I'm doing right now. And just like that was something that I like at the moment felt like, no, this is a terrible decision. This is taking me away from my journey, my path. And I had to like make the decision to really sit with like, why do I feel this type of way? Why do I feel like my journey has been derailed? Let me sit with how I'm feeling right now. Let me sit with just this moment of being in a new environment, being in a space where I'm able to connect with my grandma and my family in a whole different light. And I think after I made that little switch in my brain, I realized like, oh, like the journey is never going to look always like what you envision. It's going to have its different pushes and pulls, and people's going to influence and derail you in many different ways. But like just being accepting of the moment and knowing that this is also part of your path. I think that was a switch a little bit for me. And then just being comfortable, like just talking to yourself and being comfortable, just like accepting all the terms of your personality, the goods and the bads, and just having that conversation, just being open and honest with yourself, and just being willing to have that conversation with yourself is kind of what I just started doing when I was alone, or what I felt like I was being alone. And yeah, that's kind of just like how that all started. Like that's where that switch started from. And then those same creative ideas that you put in the same ways you give your energy to other things, you're starting to give energy to yourself. And then you start to develop like a habit and a practice.
Absolutely. I can agree with you, man. I talk to myself a lot. And the older I get, I start talking to myself, and I was hit with the stigma that it was crazy to talk to yourself. But why is it? You can't show love to anyone else unless you're alkaline and you're balanced to the point where you're showing love to yourself. Then you're able to exude and portray and give it out. I talk to myself about plenty of things, and I encourage everyone listening to talk to yourself and talk to the worst parts of yourself, because if you don't, you're going to show you're still, that energy is not going to be destroyed. You're going to give it out somehow. Either you're going to project it on someone, or it's going to come out in conversation in a wrong way to someone, and you didn't even mean it like that. But if you talk to yourself, you're now transferring this energy and growing yourself. So I encourage people to talk to yourself as much as they can. Like even if you have to pull yourself to the side in the midst of other people, it's like, oh, he talking to himself again. He must be getting himself together. Getting myself together is a form of talking to yourself, ladies and gentlemen.
For sure.